At the far end of an old alley in Tabriz, there was a broken, fragile mud house where an old fisherman named Habib was counting the last breaths of his life. He used to go toward the river, cast his net, and whatever he caught, he sold to earn enough for 2 meals a day. That day, too, something similar had happened. When Habib returned home in the evening, tired and defeated, the moment he opened the door, it felt as if his heart skipped a beat. On his bed lay a delicate, innocent girl, moonlight complexion, depth in her eyes, and barely 18 years old. Habib's voice trembled with anger. "Who are you? What are you doing in my house? And this is my bed. Don't you have any shame?" The girl got up, startled. There was a strange innocence and fear in her eyes. "I don't want to say anything right now," she said softly. "When the time comes, you'll know everything. Just let me stay here." Habib flared up. "What nonsense is this? I don't know you, nor do I have any relation with you. You are a young girl, and I am an 80-year-old old man. This is impossible. Get out of my house." Tears rolled down the girl's face. She immediately fell at his feet. "I'll do whatever you say. Just let me stay here. I'll do all your chores, cook food, keep the house clean. Just give me a corner to live in." Habib's heart began to melt, but he was still in confusion. "I'm a poor fisherman. I barely feed myself. What will I feed you?" The girl looked at him with a calm, steady gaze. "You just say yes. Everything will be fine on its own." Habib took a deep breath and, tired, said, "All right, you can stay." But his sentence was left incomplete because the girl put forth one more strange condition. "But first you have to marry me." Hearing this, Habib turned to stone. "What did you say? Marriage? Between you and me? Are you even in your senses?" The girl didn't smile, just firmly said, "Yes, I want to marry only you. And today itself." Habib couldn't comprehend any of this. A stunningly beautiful girl, whom he didn't even know, wanted to marry him. After thinking a lot, Habib agreed, and then, in a corner of that fragile mud house, an old fisherman and a young, mysterious girl, Habib and Sitara, were tied in an unbreakable bond of marriage. That night Habib tried to sleep for a long time, but the same question kept circling in his heart again and again. Who is this girl? Why has she come into my life? Habib sat quietly, staring at Sitara. He felt no joy in this marriage, no expectation, only a strange amazement that was crushing his heart. "Is this a dream?" he thought to himself. The first light of the morning had not yet fully touched the ground when Habib prepared his small boat. As he reached the door, a voice came from behind. "Going to catch fish?" Habib turned around and saw Sitara standing there, the same mysterious calm in her eyes. "Yes," he replied coldly, "but who knows what fate is written?" Sitara nodded with a smile and said softly, "Keep faith in God. Everything will be fine." Habib didn't respond to her words and walked toward the river. But that day, how could he catch any fish? His thoughts were filled with just one name: Sitara. His age was 80. His body was tired and his heart was tangled. Every time he cast his net into the river, only one question circled in his mind. Who is that girl? Why did she marry me? And is her intention truly pure? Even after working for several hours, nothing came into his net. The sun began to set, and the waves of the river seemed to sympathize with his fatigue. Tired and worn out, when Habib returned home, he saw Sitara standing at the door. Hopeful eyes. "Did you bring any fish?" she asked. Habib's face fell. "Nothing came." Sitara didn't complain. She just smiled. "It's okay. We'll endure hunger together. That's what Nika means, right?" That night neither of them ate. The stove remained cold and silence hovered in the room. But Sitara, She still remained like a light, as if silently accepting every pain, even while knowing everything. The next morning, Habib set out again toward the river, but his heart was even heavier now. Is this girl really genuine, or is this some sort of trick? Maybe I've become a victim of a great deception. That day, at last, a fish got caught in his net. He didn't smile, just returned home, exhausted. As soon as he reached home, Sitara took the fish and smiling said, "Wait a bit, I'll cook it." But after a while she came back. "There's nothing in the kitchen. No salt, no oil, no spices, nothing." Habib said in a tired tone, "I told you, didn't I? I have nothing. Whatever fish I get, I just roast it on coal and eat it." Sitara didn't complain, nor did she argue. She immediately placed the fish on the coals. After a while, the two shared the fish, half and half. Habib had eaten, but the burden on his heart had only increased. Finally, he asked the same question again. "Sitara, now at least tell me, who are you? Why did you marry me?" Sitara took a deep breath. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Just a little more patience, Habib. Very soon everything will be clear, and then every question, every pain of yours will disappear." That night Habib couldn't sleep, and the next morning when he returned from the river, it was as if time had stopped. The house was silent. Sitara was nowhere to be seen. He ran here and there, called out, but there was no response. And then his eyes fell on that old yellow chest, the one he hadn't opened in years, which held the last memory of his mother. The gold earrings. The chest was open, and it was empty. The ground beneath his feet seemed to vanish. "No! This can't be!" His head began to spin, and he collapsed to the floor. Was Sitara a thief? Did she take advantage of my innocence? Took away the last memory of my mother? Shaken, he ran to his old friend Sharifuddin. After hearing everything, Sharifuddin said, "There's only one way now. Let's go to the Queen. She will surely give you justice." And then a new hope awakened in Habib's eyes. Through the stony alleys of Tabriz, Habib moved toward that high hill, where the majestic palace of the Queen of Tabriz stood. There was a chill in the air, and in his trembling hands he still held that old chest, the one that once held his mother's gold earrings. At the palace gates, two guards stood holding long swords. Habib stopped in front of them, and in a soft, tired voice said, "I need to meet the Queen. It is very important." One of the guards looked him up and down and laughed. "A tattered old man like you wants to meet the Queen? Move along from here." But just then, another guard said, "Wait. The Queen has opened the court to common people today. This old man might as well benefit from a day of mercy." After a few questions and answers, Habib was allowed inside the palace. The scene inside the palace was nothing short of a dream for him. High domes, red carpets laid across the floor, mirrors gleaming on the walls, and the glow of 1,000 lamps. In the center stood a tall throne upon which sat the Queen of Tabriz. Her face was covered with a veil, only her deep, steady eyes were visible. The court minister called out loudly, "Habib bin Yusuf, present your matter before the Queen." Habib walked forward slowly. His voice was heavy but not broken. "Queen Sahiba, I am an old fisherman. 2 days ago a girl came to my house. Young, beautiful, but a stranger. She insisted on marrying me. I refused countless times, but she wouldn't listen. We got married, and then 2 days later she disappeared with my mother's last keepsake, a pair of gold earrings." The entire court was stunned. The Queen remained silent for a few moments, then asked, "What do you want now, old fisherman?" "Justice. I want my mother's memory back. I cannot replace it with anything else." The queen's voice was gentle, but her face was still hidden behind the veil. "If I offer you double the gold in place of that jewelry, would you accept that?" Habib didn't take a moment to answer. "Number E, I only want that keepsake. It was the last symbol of my mother." The queen remained silent for a moment, then said, "Your matter will be taken seriously. Court is adjourned for today. You wait outside." Habib wanted to say something, but the guards gestured for him to step outside. He was given a small room in one of the outer sections of the palace. The queen never allowed commoners to stay overnight in the palace. That night Habib couldn't sleep. As soon as morning came, the court assembled again. Habib was called once more. This time the court's atmosphere was different. Fewer people were present. The queen was seated on her throne, but today, along with her veil, a deep silence surrounded her. The minister said, "Queen Sahiba has decided that today she will meet you in person." Habib was surprised. "Me? Alone?" "Yes, but only tomorrow morning. Until then, you will stay in the palace." Holding on to one last hope, Habib began preparing to meet the queen. A handmaiden came and said, "Queen Sahiba is waiting. You have been summoned alone to the throne chamber." There, the Queen of Tabriz was waiting for him, seated in the same manner as before, her face still veiled. "Please sit, Habib." Habib, in a trembling voice, said to the queen, "Queen Sahiba, I came before you with my head bowed, seeking justice. You called me for a private audience, honored an old man like me with such respect. But what is all this? And how do you know my name?" The queen stood up and walked a few steps toward the chest, the same one that held the gold earrings, his mother's last keepsake. Habib was stunned upon seeing the chest. "This is the chest with my mother's jewelry. How did it come to you? You found the thief so quickly. I must say, you are truly a righteous queen. Where is that thief? The one from whom you recovered my mother's last keepsake. That is my final request. Let me meet her. I want to ask her why she did this." And she put it back in the same place. Habib said, "What are you doing?" "This is a keepsake." "Why did you take it back?" The queen said, "You'll have to stay here one more day to find the answer. Tomorrow in the public court, you'll get answers to all your questions." Habib, who was happy after getting back his mother's lost jewelry, was now caught in another dilemma. What will happen tomorrow? Will the answers come? The next morning, Habib appeared in the public court. The queen's voice echoed, soft but impactful. "What do you want now, old man?" "Justice. Return my mother's last keepsake. It was the reason I lived." The queen looked at him silently for a while, through the veil with her eyes. She slowly lifted her veil, and Habib was stunned. That face, those eyes, that smile. It was no one else but Sitara. Habib's legs started to shake. His eyes were wide in disbelief. "Sitara, what is this? You're the queen?" The whole palace was in shock. The queen, Sitara, rose from her grand throne and slowly walked toward Habib. "Yes, I am Sitara." Habib was still stunned. "But why did you marry me? Why did you do all this?" Sitara's eyes welled up. The truth she had kept hidden until now. It was time to finally speak. Who really was Sitara? Why did she marry Habib? What was the secret of her life? And how was her past connected? Today I'm going to tell you the truth, the one that has weighed on my soul for years. Habib looked at her. His eyes were heavy, but still. 20 years ago, Sitara began, a little girl was left alone on the banks of the river. An old fisherman saw her. He saved her life and then sent her to an orphanage. You may not remember that moment, but that little girl was me. And that old fisherman was you, Habib. If you hadn't picked me up that day, I would not have survived. In the orphanage, I was raised, educated, and slowly my fate changed. An elderly nobleman adopted me, and when he passed away, he left his entire estate to me. But all that wealth still lacked one thing, the debt of a favor. She paused and took a deep breath. Your favor, Habib. You saved me when I was just a burden on this world. I could have given you gold, some land, but none of that would have been enough. Tears streamed from Habib's eyes. But why did you marry me? Because if I had come just as a girl, then you wouldn't have kept me. It would have hurt your pride. But after the nikah, as a wife, I could live in your house. I could serve you. I knew your condition was very bad, and I had to repay that debt no matter what. And my mother's keepsake, I took it only so that I could call you here. Sitara's voice was now choked, because one day I wanted you to see with your own eyes what the girl you once saved had become, and that she never forgot the debt of your kindness. Habib's face had changed now. I never thought a small act of mine would change someone's whole life. Not help, Habib. Sitara said, it was a blessing. It was your generosity that today has become the identity of my soul. The same little girl you once found dying by the riverside today stood before you as your protector, but now she wore a crown on her forehead and had the strength in her eyes to change the world. Sitara gently held Habib's hand. Habib bowed his head. But now you are a queen, and I'm just a poor fisherman. Sitara smiled and said, you gave me a name. You gave me life. And whoever gives life doesn't just become a relationship. They become a whole universe. I may be a queen, but now I belong only to you. The people in the court now turned toward Habib. There stood an old fisherman. I will not let you live alone anymore, Sitara said. A part of this palace will be yours. Every morning, your tea. Every evening, your stories. Now I will take care of you. There was a tired smile on Habib's face, a smile that is born only after years of pain. He took a deep breath as if the weight on his chest had finally been lifted.